LD, we've got an incredible guest today.
Yes.
Everybody in this country that listens to this show is going to be extremely excited for this guest. He's currently the head coach of Red Bull 2. You're going to talk about why that is amazing. He won the MLS Cup, the Supporters Shield in 2017 with Toronto FC. He played for the famous, amongst many other teams, AS Roma in Italy, was named U.S. Soccer Men's Player of the Year in 2015. Listen here. This man has 151 caps for the U.S. men's national team between 2006 and 2019, famously played in the 2010 and 2014 World Cups. He is a dear friend of ours, a friend of the show, and one of the greatest, hands down, greatest teammates either of us have ever had, the one and only Michael Bradley. Welcome to the show.
Welcome, Mikey.
Thanks for having me, guys. What an introduction. The pressure
deserved. Now. And he left out the current 2025 MLS Next Pro champion, Michael Bradley.
Well done. The success follows.
Let's dig right in, Mike. So first of all, congrats.
Yeah.
You came mid-year, right? In June?
June.
Yeah. So we all knew at some point you were going to go down the coaching path just because of your lineage, the way you captained, the way you spoke. When did you really, be honest, officially know that that was what you wanted to do? Because I think it was at like 6 years old, but I want to know from you.
Yeah, I mean, subconsciously, it was probably in and around that
watching your dad,
that 6-year-old age. In reality, I don't know, man. Like all of us, I was for a long time probably in denial that there was ever going to have to be life after playing. And I loved playing more than anything in the whole world. I loved every part of it. And so for a really long time, life after playing, you didn't even want to think about it. And then obviously as you're getting older, then you start to think about it all a little bit more seriously. Start to think about what's next. How you envision your life. And for me, I love the game. I love being on a team. I love coming into a training ground every day. I love the part of trying to do something special with a group of people. And yeah, then at some point there, it was real obvious that I wanted to coach. And the other interesting thing for me then is as I got to the end of my career, like I felt in a lot of ways the impact that I had on my teammates or on young players. I could almost feel that the impact that I had in terms of trying to help them, lead them, mentor them in some ways, that part was, the impact there was greater than pure impact on the field. And so that was then what really started to excite me about, putting the end to the playing and moving into the coaching.
And then were you getting your coaching licenses, badges, all that along the way? A lot of players do that as they're playing, or did you wait till you were done?
I waited a while. I did my last year of playing. I picked up an injury after in like April or May, and it actually, the timing worked where I was able to do my UEFA B license in Wales. The FAW was putting on a residential B license for current and ex players. And so the timing worked perfect where I was able to go do the week residential. Obviously then for the rest of that year, there was some distance work and assignments and sessions and things to do, but I was able to get the B license done the last year I was playing. And then I began the A license when I started as an assistant coach. So that part, the timing of that all worked pretty well.
Yeah. Go ahead, Landon.
No, I'm curious because we know you as Michael the player and ultimate professional, intense, competitive, great leader. What type of coach are you? Are you that intense? Your dad was always very intense with us too, but had a soft side and as you got to know him better. So what kind of coach are you? How do you describe yourself as a coach? And I'm sure it's still evolving, right? You're still learning. So.
Sure. I hope I think you always have to evolve, right? And so, the person or the coach that you start out as, that will you'll grow and develop, and you'll also always try to give whatever team that you have what they need in any given moment. And so I think that part, that's also the beauty of coaching, is how do you adapt to your players? How do you adapt to the team, the environment? And so I think that part's important. Who am I? Yeah, as you said, you guys know me. I love the game. I'm competitive as can be. I want to create an environment every single day where everybody a part of it feels like they are doing something worthwhile and special, and that we are all in something together. The part of, and this is one of the really exciting things for me at Red Bull right now, but the part of trying to combine football and football ideas, and football that is exciting and fun to watch, and football that produces goals and good players, and football that people want to watch. How do you combine that with intensity and competitiveness, and being really hard to play against, and putting the game on your teams when you don't have the ball, and pressing? That is, and again, I'm sure we'll get into it, but like, when you think about Red Bull right now, and the ideas that Jurgen Klopp has brought into the organization, like that part is really, really exciting. And so every single day you're trying to put this blend together of football, of intensity, of competitiveness, of spirit, of mentality, and you want it all. And so how you then go about that every day, the environment you create, the way that you challenge the players, engage the players, the way you in moments are challenging and demanding, in other moments the way you're positive, encouraging, and put your arms around them. And so it's not an exact science. You guys know that. Trying every single day to chip away at it.
Yeah. Oh, listen, and Landon, Bob does have a soft side, but I'm still scared of him to this day, and I'm 46 years old. So like, I'm not so I don't.
Every time he texts me, I'm like, oh God, what's he gonna
get
say?
nervous? You get nervous every time Bob texts. It's amazing. But you know, Michael, it's interesting because we go all the way back. I mean, the 2006 World Cup camp, pre-World Cup camp, when you were in the camp with Bruce Arena, was the manager. I think it was in Cary, North Carolina or something.
Yeah.
And I feel like you then played for your dad. You're now following in his footsteps. You can never get too far away from him. So you're like a glutton for punishment. But what I always admired about you, and this isn't necessarily a question, I'll get to that, was I was a senior player and I was obviously older, but I never felt I would protect you to the ends of the earth, but I never felt I had to protect you. You did such an incredible job of like playing for your dad when you're younger. Then your dad gets let go from US Soccer, you not holding grudges, and being able to accept a leadership role with another manager. I mean, it's really incredible how that kind of, that transition, and watching you become a leader, like that's the greatest compliment I can pay you. Like, I was willing to protect any of you guys, particularly my dear friends, but I never felt that I had to, because you were able to do that on your own. And from a coaching standpoint, like you've always gone about the game the right way, right? And we can argue what the right way is, but I hear from so many coaches now that they're like, Tim, these kids are different. They're different, Tim. You got to coach them different. You got to be a little bit lighter. You got to take some of the emotion out of the game. So like, I hear that from a lot of people, like big coaches. And so I'm just kind of curious, you had success a certain way, right? You were adaptable, played for a lot of coaches, but you had a certain way of having success. I would imagine you want to implement so much of that. At the same time, is this new generation just different? Do they have to be coached in a different way? And I'm not saying coddled, but just coached in a different way?
To some degree, yeah. I would absolutely agree with that. But I also, like, there's value in the old school.
100%.
There's value in being real and value in high standards, and there's value in looking somebody in the eye in the right way in the right moment and telling them exactly how it is. And now, does that have to be balanced with, making sure that they know how much you care about them, how much you want them to improve? Does that need to be balanced with, positive reinforcement and encouragement? It does. But like, we've all been on really, really good teams. We were a part of a really good team and a really special team altogether. And that really special team was not built on the idea that every single person, every single one of us just told the other only what they wanted to hear. Like, there was still the part of how do you hold yourself first, but others to real standards? And how do you, how do you have real discussion, and how do you challenge guys? And like, ultimately that's what being on a team is. That's what makes it special. And when you can, that takes work. It takes time so that people, take that the right way. It takes time so that now there can be real value coming from that. But I think, when you talk about an environment, when you talk about how to improve the work every day, it has to be based on honesty and truth, and the part that now everybody's trying to get better, and again, it has to be done in a way that people feel good about. You want everybody to walk into a training facility or walk into a stadium every single day feeling good about what is going on, feeling excited. It doesn't mean that everything's going to go your way every single day, but still the general part of creating an environment, creating an atmosphere, that part is so important. And so, the new generation, sure, it's look, the world is different, right? I mean, players now, in a lot of cases, they were parented differently, they were taught differently, and they have been coached differently than any of us ever were. And so we'd be dumb and naive to think that didn't exist, or that we can just do all of the same things. And so, how do you combine a little bit of the old school with the new school?